Do that.
Hey.
Dev is back. You got the marquee. My God.
Hey. This is the respect that I deserve around here. That's what I'm talking
When
about.
are we doing the one that
love the Dev?
I'm going to get a razor or something.
When are we doing the one that says Eric is here again?
Eric is here.
Yeah, they're not
Always here. Old reliable. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a Thursday edition of the DNVR Nuggets podcast, a.k.a. the DNBA show, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Who knows? With Dev in the house, we might open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app and look at tonight's prop bets for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Who knows? If we like making money.
Do we know? Do you know?
Well, I don't know, but I might add that to the end of the list.
How's it been going for you guys?
Well, we haven't been betting. And why would we bet when we have our uncultured, terrible opinions? We need yours.
That makes sense.
You have missed out on our snake drafts, though, man.
See, look, talking about those snake drafts, man. I have nightmares of the last one still.
Yeah.
Like, it's time for me to...
Yo, Dev, remember the fast food one where Dev came in?
Oh, he did terrible.
See, but I was
He did
pandering.
really bad.
That was like
You thought you were. You ended up were not pandering to anybody.
I was absolutely pandering, and that's the only reason that I did bad. And from there, I have to make up for it because there's people that don't respect me off of that day alone.
Yeah, me.
So I have to bounce back.
I don't respect you at all.
Exactly.
The worst part is that when this most recent results went into the Slack, Dev hit me. He DM'd me immediated to tell me that he was so disappointed in me. I had such a terrible job. Can we bring up the current standings? How it's turned out?
Oh, you want to see?
And then while you're looking up the current standings, the reason that I destroyed him is because I didn't know that there was a second list that was behind the paywall.
Hey,
So
don't share it because that's for members only.
Just
man.
that one directly, and then I was like, you could have done a lot better. So it was like the second tier. It was like I judged somebody off of the bench unit.
Look at that,
it made it tough.
D-line, Team Murray, currently in the lead with 43.9%.
You always win the masses. You know, you are the Walmart of the show.
That's the score.
You are the McDonald's of the show, the Walmart of the show.
Or that's one interpretation. Another interpretation is that I have great taste.
Well, Toasty Mac, one of our OG followers, been following us a long time. He had a great thing. He said, acting chops, which includes subtlety, which goes over most people's heads in comedy. Bottom line, you, Adam, value subtlety in your comedic experience.
Oh, my God.
Most people, not to say anyone's right or wrong, he's not saying you're wrong here.
What?
Prefer more obvious or popping laughs. Yeah, and I agree.
He was talking specifically about Harrison's Jim Carrey, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Will Ferrell. Same thing. No subtlety to that dude.
No, that's not true.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Will Ferrell occupies the space that is, he plays high-low.
All right.
He comes off as low level, but he's actually very high level.
You insist. We got to keep it moving here. Nobody wants to talk about yesterday's show.
14% of the vote over here.
Got murdered. Got destroyed by this. We do have a lot of stuff to get to today, guys. Ayo Dosunmu. I think I said that. I probably said it wrong. Ayo Dosunmu is going to be our prospect today. We're probably going to do a prospect every single day, all the way up until we're going to be prospecting every single day because we had so many to get through. We're going to talk about him. We're also going to talk about some news and notes from around the NBA. The new logo. I can't wait to hit Eric's opinion on the new 75th anniversary of the NBA commemorative logo. Viewership for Game 1 of the Finals is up. We're going to talk about that. Steve Ballmer got richer.
Yes, dude. No. Well, you want to make sure that the rich are as plump as possible before we eat them.
I mean, I'm so glad it happened to a great person. That's the thing about it. And then, of course, we're also going to be talking about Baye Fall, who really fascinating, man. It's been a while since Denver's had a top young prospect. Baye Fall, man, he is that dude, and Dev knows as well as anybody. But first, guys, our first story today.
What?
Facu Campazzo. The rookie from Argentina, our tiny king, tiny king that we stand. He had a great, I love this. He has a blog, but he's so popular in Argentina, guys. He's so popular. And he did a blog post in Argentina in La Nación. Okay, paper,
The Nation.
The Nation. It stands for The Nación. He did a blog post where he looked back on the season and shared some insights, and I thought it was really insightful. It was really he really shared some things. I'm like, okay, that gives me great perspective, not only on him, but also on just how the season went. And I thought it would be cool if we kind of read it together.
Oh,
my own translation, by the way, of this. My own translation.
That makes it a lot better.
Google?
Meaning everybody, especially the Argentinians who may be watching this one, needs to understand probably some words in here I thought I interpreted correctly that I did not. So, but are you guys ready? It's kind of long, so here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to stop me as we're going if you have any
Sure.
questions or stuff.
We'll interject.
Oh, I should
Absolutely.
also say, Harrison's not here and Vote's not here. Do you know what that means, Eric?
Am I on ads?
You're
today?
on ads today, so.
I actually don't have access to that, unfortunately.
Kale, go ahead and send him a link to the ads so that he has access to it. What's going on here tonight? Damn it. All right, well. All right, thanks. Oh, there you go, Linz. All right, here we go. Let's get into the blog post. Again, this was written by Facu, so this isn't even an interview. This is his own. He wrote it.
Oh, my God.
Now that we are several days after the end of the season, I feel good.
Wow. Okay.
So it's off to a great start here. It seems to me that everything I experienced is part of adaptation and learning. It was a long season with a lot of games. I didn't expect to play that much, but it became about because of Jamal Murray's injury. So first of all,
Yeah.
this is an interesting thing where I want to stop here. I said that because he said this before. I know a lot of we got from Argentinians, he should have played more. He should have done this and that. He didn't expect to play as much as he did.
I was just going to say, I'm actually surprised by that. It seems that if you were to give up a very successful career in Europe and take a massive pay cut, didn't he actually lose money to come here?
Correct.
That you would expect some sort of assurance that you were going to get on the court.
But this is why I love this dude. Because he's absolutely right. Now, it's funny because I know that some of the European and international fans, they don't like this take of me. I've heard from them about it. That I say, look, the NBA is a different beast than European leagues, and it is a level up, but it's also just different. And a lot of great European players, I think even players, especially fans, certainly fans, but even players, when they come over, they have these expectations of I dominated over there and it's just as every bit as good. I think Facu is a rare example of a player that understands it's not just a more challenging league, but it's also different, the subtle differences and how I have to go. So I think he came into it with the right mind frame of this is going to be a 2-year process, like a regular rookie where I'm going to play some, but probably not a lot. And to me, as we go on, that's super encouraging to me that he knew he had a learning curve.
Yeah, a lot of those players play against the NBA players in USA basketball and FIBA, so they do understand that it is the talent level is just a lot different. It's a lot faster, stronger. It's the best people in the world going at it, so they do have an idea of how it's going to be, but also you have to adapt to that. So they're coming into a league that they know nothing about, and they don't play the exact same style or way. So I think that there's an understanding with a lot of the players, but with Facu, he has a lot to prove. He was a small guard. He's older. He's a lot different than the traditional look for them. So I think it's cool that he comes out with these type of letters to actually let you know how he truly feels and what his real experience is.
Me too. It's better than a presser. If only players I would give up access to pressers if every player wrote an essay after every game.
You have given up access to pressers.
Well, I kind of have,
you just pawned off on Harrison.
Yeah, I got work to do. At the end of the season, I felt more comfortable than at the beginning.
Sure.
I did not know. This is again Facu, not me.
I understand.
Okay. Just you said that in a weird way. I did not know the opponents. I love this one. Jokic said a similar thing, by the way. If you remember early in his career, he talked about not knowing who he was going up against. We all know these guys because we've been following them, but international player probably looks at who did he look at? Maybe even De'Aaron Fox, who's a really good player, and probably just didn't know about De'Aaron Fox even the way we did because he's not big enough for you to know about. So I didn't know the opponents. I had a hard time getting into the game, finding the confidence to try to make an impact with my game. As I was facing the same opponents a second time, I felt much better. And this is where Jokic really tied. Remember 2 years ago, he was asked about, how do you, is it tough going against so-and-so? And he's like, man, I've seen everybody now. I've seen everybody 5 times. There's no more surprises. It's just about, can you get it done? And I think he's kind of alluding to this as well. The truth is that what I experienced in this first year in the NBA was more than positive. I was wrong a lot and learned as I went along. Now I really want the second season to begin. What's that?
You and Facu, not so different.
Very true, man. Very true.
Wrong a lot.
But this is one of the big talking points about Facu is just how is he going to approach this offseason? He's a seasoned player. But he is acting, or at least portraying, that as if he was no different from Marcus Howard. That this was a throw into the deep end year, and now I know, okay, I know where my weaknesses are and I have to attack. I think that in this first experience, I should have worked a little more on trust. convinced myself to do some things.
Oh.
In general, my head was focused on analyzing the situation in which I found myself, and from that to work my game to build it.
So is he talking about trust in himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Self-trust. This is a self-trust.
Are you translating in real time, or have you previously translated and now you're reading from English?
I am... What? No, no. I previously translated.
Okay.
I actually spent some time trying to get this thing done here. Actually, I set out to do my best in my role. In that sense, I think I took a step forward, and I consider myself a better player at the end of the season. Obviously, that comes from making mistakes many times, making bad decisions, of encouraging myself more, of not being afraid of being covered, of losing the ball, turning it over. I think I had to click on that. I grew as a player when I got over the fear of making mistakes. I feel more comfortable. I feel that in the end it cost me a bit, but I began to understand it, and I let go as many times as I could. I think I should have cheered up a bit more.
Oh, so he was kind of down in the dumps.
I love this. If you think about, Facu had a middle part of the season where we're kind of all out on him. We were like, man, he looks rough.
I mean, there were some prominent bloggers about that were out on Facu that declared him in no uncertain language. He was not an NBA player, and he did look down in the dumps like midway through. I mean, he just...
There was a period to me where if you asked me gun to my head.
Yeah, he didn't look like emotionally down. I'm surprised to hear that, but he did look lost. He did look as though he didn't quite know. I mean, exactly the things that he's talking about. Like that was evident as the season was going on.
Confidence is so big, man.
That's all there is, man.
It really, especially at the NBA level, man. These guys. This is why when people complain about Will Barton's confidence or this or that, I'm like, you guys don't understand, man. Like, it's like going into a lion's den, the NBA. Like, you have to have a little irrationality to you, or else you're going to be. And I kind of feel like that's what he's talking about here.
Yeah, and it's a long season, especially from a player that's in a whole new country. I'm not sure how much of his family was here, but it's just different. And it's like it's his first year, and he's like a study abroad type of student that's just trying to learn the game, trying to learn himself. It's different. He's already been successful. He's already been at the mountaintops, and now he has to start all the way back over. And he has a lot to prove to himself. I know that the expectations for himself was high as the fans. Like, nobody gave him a fair shake going into it. And then he got put into a situation where he has to play and he has to prove himself. So there are going to be like ups and downs and just not meeting those expectations. But all in all, he had a really good year. And when you look back on it, there is a lot to build on. So he's saying all of the right things.
Do you remember him saying this about not being happy and this or that? It reminds me, do you remember when Ricky Rubio tried to cheer up Alexei Shved?
Yeah,
when he said, change your face? It's such a
the old change your face. I get that all the time. Or
change your face.
Yeah,
that's how he said it. Like,
oh, you're
happy.
You're not miserable. You should tell your face. That's
tell your face that. Anyway, it reminds me of that, and I'm telling you, man, it has to be tough. But this is why I like Facu, and I've talked many times about the numerous European players who have gotten to Facu's age, where they have become superstars in Europe and no longer want to come over. And I get it. You're a superstar at that level, but I would be lying if I didn't say that I judge people a little bit when they don't choose to when they're that great, when you have something special and you don't push yourself to play at the top level. There's always something like a little bit. It's like golf, Eric. We were just golfing. There's 4 tees, right? And they tell you one's for like women.
Yep.
One's the tips.
That absolutely.
And then there's 2 in the middle. We don't really know what they are. But if you were a killer golfer and you kept going down to the easy one, it'd be like, come on, man, push yourself. You can go back another 50 yards.
Yeah, if you Adam were teeing off at the senior tees, I'd be like,
is that for old people?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah. What else would that be for? For senior high school?
Like senior, like you're a senior golfer.
Oh, like you've reached the highest
junior golfer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, junior golfer. Also, by the way, it refers to their age. So that was a bad.
Damn it! So confusing. Be careful, he says.
Okay.
When I talk, which I did, this part I didn't translate too right. Be careful. When I talk about cheering up more, I talk about details because I know that I will not have the ball as much as the last game against Phoenix, which was a special situation because Jokic was ejected. This is very interesting to me because we talked about this on the bench a lot when he was playing alongside other guards, and it's like it's so clear that he is best with the ball in his hand.
Yes.
And it's interesting because Monte Morris ended up taking on the bench unit when Jamal Murray went down. It's like, Facu, you're the starter. And part of me wonders, like, Monte Morris also great with the ball in his hands, but I feel like he has more experience with Jokic. And I wonder if there's a little bit of, I don't think Facu was brought in to play with Jokic a whole lot.
Nope.
And I wonder if there is a little bit of, even that threw him off a little bit of, now I have to play this unique style where I am much better as a dictator with the basketball.
A lot of the dictator. I don't know why that strikes me as so funny. Just the idea of Facu being a little dictator out there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it just speaks to all of the adjustments he had to make on the fly. I mean, this is obviously a very new role for him in every sense of the word, and we watched the evolution. You know, he came out shot out of a cannon in that first preseason game.
Yeah.
Granted, like, nobody else was playing hard. He was playing as hard as you possibly can, and he, you know, we were all like very interested. And then it just started, like, his effectiveness just started to sag off. Like, he was getting really picked on defensively, and his shot wasn't falling. A lot of us were sort of just wondering, you know, like, what does Facu have to offer? And, you know, as it went on, it's all about adaptation. It's all about understanding your role. It's all about probably learning the language, like Dev is saying. I mean, there's a lot. So it's cool. It's cool to see behind the old curtain here.
It's funny you say learning the language, because do you think it's weird, Dev, if you're on a team, like Jokic can speak English pretty well now, so maybe this isn't a thing, but Facu still can't. Do you think it's weird if your two initiators can't speak English?
Yeah. Especially
They're your lead communicators usually.
Yeah, and they have the ball in their hands, and they're actually
Is it just like a number system at a certain point?
because they have to switch their entire lingo. The two guys that have the ball, and your point guard and your star player. So just having to adjust and adapt, and also they play different than everyone else. Like, they're not the same as other players. Facu is a pass first guy in the NBA that just is not seen often. Jokic is also a pass first superstar.
Yeah.
That's just not seen often. So for them to have their own disconnect in a way, but also trying to, like, build some type of cohesion and try to get it in a team, like, environment, that I think that would be difficult.
Yeah. Moving on, he says, but I think maybe I can work more on my floater, on the 2-point shot, on improving decision-making in milliseconds, and not doubting when I have an open shot, although I think I did quite well in that sense. I think he's right about the last part. Did very well. Like, as a spot-up shooter, he's pretty good, and I think he let it fly. You know, he's fine. I love what he said, his two things he had to work on, because I agree. On his 2-point shot, which is really a pick-and-roll pull-up shot. Like, that's his weakest point, and Denver really, in the NBA, you've got to be able to at least keep the defense honest by being able to pull that on up. And then the floater. He's got to be able to score. It's not going to be – he's not going to be above the rim player. He's not Kyrie Irving doing crazy stuff. He's got to be able to say, if you're going to sink back and let me shoot these little 7-footers, I'm going to kill you with them.
Dude, the man needs to learn to finish at the rim.
That's what he's saying, though.
He has to, yes. He's right. You're right, Facu. You're right, Facu's translated speech. You need to learn to finish at the rim. It was so confusing that the shortest guy on the floor was not a shooter, except for sometimes he was deadly at 3, other times he was comical at 3.
Right.
And then running that pick and roll with Jokic, it was like, what are we doing? Like, half of the pick and roll can't score, so it's like super ineffective.
And I'm honestly not that worried about his 3. It would be great if he was like a knockdown, quick 3-point.
Yeah, I don't want him shooting 3s.
I don't care. Yeah.
I don't want him shooting 3s.
And he shot him well. He shot him fine. I think
the
his
playoffs,
percentages
absolutely.
were good. Dev, do you agree with his assessment, though? I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, but man, 2-point shot and floater. Boom.
No, just because he's a point guard that has a lot of other scores around him. He needs to be able to, like, knock down the 3-ball just because there is so much gravity.
But he did this year.
Yeah, but he has to become a more consistent scorer, and also like a player that's not looking down those shots. Like, I mean, there was a lot of times that he was confident and he kept shooting it, but the game plan was to just keep on allowing him to. So if he keeps knocking them down, now they have to defend him in a different way. But yeah, that floater does make it difficult, so that if his 3-ball is falling, he also could get inside, and he's not he's an under the rim type player. He's not that big, but having a floater and just being dangerous from both outside and inside makes it really hard for anybody to defend him. We already know that he's a good passer. He's a high IQ player that, like, he knows where to be on the floor, so that comes easy for him. So I'll say yes and no. I think that the 3-point shot could be a little bit more consistent, and also just we know that the game plan is you can't leave them open.
Yeah, I honestly think the floater and that pull up too are the like 1-2 things, and I just love that he said them. And it's funny because Monte Morris is great at these, and he's great in large part because of how much he came into the league good at it. He's now one of the elite guys in my opinion, and when you watch all of his Instagram workout videos, he's constantly working on crazy finishes, like attacking the basket in these like way off balance little leaners, and he's just so good at those.
Yeah, you're right. Monte's finishing got so good.
It gives me hope that Facu will be good next year at it.
I hope so, but the thing is, you're right. I mean, it's funny to me that a guy that's played basketball his entire life in other leagues, been an ultimate champion, like has this huge hole. Apparently, it wasn't needed. I guess
that's exactly what it is.
Apparently, so it's so strange to me, but yeah,
or needed less. I should just say.
You know what I love the most about this? I don't know. Is there more to read?
A lot more.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's keep going.
It seems to me that the question is to find the balance between what my game needs and what can best serve the team. I love that. He's trying to find my best version. Raising my level of play will happen if I make quicker reads and I am effective when I have the ball in my hand. Against Portland, I felt good, and against Phoenix, I didn't because their approach was very good, their game plan. We had a hard time getting into the game in that series. At first, I took the elimination and the way it happened pretty badly.
We all did, Facu.
We all did. I'm glad he did. Well, maybe not everybody. I really like to compete, and it hurt to be knocked out. It wasn't the ending we wanted because it was with our people. That's the one line I couldn't understand. It's like verbatim. I don't know what he means there.
Does he mean at home?
Maybe that must be what it is. Yeah, he solved it. He cracked the code.
Yeah.
When I got home,
Facu whisper.
When I got home, the anger lasted a couple days, but I found peace among my family. I like this because this sounds like real.
Turns out I need to hang out with Facu's family. I'm still very angry.
Very angry. It's so true. It hurt because I like to get to the end of the season. It was a blow. The way I face the day after something like this is to think about how to improve for what is coming. What does my body need? Set short and long-term goals and not think about what happened, but about what is next and what is right now. I learned a lot from Chris Paul in the series against Phoenix. Although it seems that he is slower than the others, what he does is set the pace of the game. If I felt that the 4 games were at the pace that he intended. We never figured him out. When we tried to keep him from passing the ball, he started scoring points. When we gave him a shot, almost nothing missed. I guarded him a little. I like this part. Wasn't all me, guys. I guarded him a little bit here. I guarded a little, but you suffer and enjoy it at the same time. What a great line.
Yeah.
You suffer and enjoy him at the same time.
Including the word suffer.
I really do, man. Life is about suffering. He is a player of the style we are used to seeing. Penetrating, passing, scoring, slow playing. At all times, we felt that we were behind him. To win the series, we had to cancel him, and we didn't. Because the way he plays makes his teammates better, I've always suffered from him at the Olympics and now this season. He is a player that I really like. And Devin Booker is a tremendous, very athletic and amazing, and has amazing touch.
Fast forward.
When we got close, they would give him the ball and he would shoot the 3 or go to the hoop. When the season ended, there weren't many meetings. It's not like at Real Madrid or Penarol, the club in which the next day there was a meal to close the year. After the playoffs, there was a more formal closing. They sent us a message. That was their formal closing. They sent us a message and said, take a rest and be with your family. Perhaps the pandemic was the reason. I took a week to rest on the beach with family and went back to Denver and started training.
What?
He's been here.
Is he here?
Well, he has been. I'm just going to do it. It helps me a lot for what is coming in the national team for our tour in Las Vegas and later the Olympics. So I'm guessing he's already, because they play in Vegas, I think.
Facu, we know you're watching. Come on by the DNVR bar,
Come on by, buddy. Although I went to the beach and rest, I was still a bit hooked on the playoffs, although not watching full games. If there was a TV, I would watch, but I was not very attentive. Maybe through the networks I found out more. But it's not easy to get rid of that dynamic. We even go to the hotel room, and one day Kansu, I'm guessing that's his son or family member or something, asked me to turn on the TV to watch basketball. It seems that he likes the atmosphere of the NBA playoffs. Ooh. Now I see the NBA as a fan because my head is on the new goals. Everything is part of a season. What happened to me in the first experience will help me for what is coming in the national team, the Olympic Games, and what we achieve in Tokyo will help me with Denver next season. I have a mind to improve the details of the game next season. The year experience is going to help me. Obviously, my goal is to do the best job possible in the national team. Now we have a tour here in the United States for the games.
Seems like we could have got the Cliff Notes version
of this.
Yeah,
you're not enjoying the reading goes, all right, we now reach, well, he's saying, I want to reach the best version of myself to compete.
Just like a more Facu-sized version of this.
Facu-sized. Anyway, a lot of stuff in there. I love it because, in my opinion, I always thought your hope with Facu is that he is significantly better next year.
Yes.
And specifically better in the ways that are tailored to help Denver and play in the NBA. And it sounds like his mind, he's just so smart. Obviously a clear vet player, but he's right on that same wavelength.
I really love the whole piece about Chris Paul, just because you could tell that there's
Eric didn't. He wanted me to cut that entire part out.
but there was a real respect. Like, he was a respect, and also I think that he's seen a little bit of himself in Chris Paul.
Sure.
Like, he's like one of the like slower players out there. Not to say he's small, but there's just some type of disadvantage.
Right.
So he's a smaller player, but he also controlled the pace. He's like, he didn't use the word IQ, but he's like, he controlled every aspect of the game, and we could not figure that out. He also puts the respect like in it, like, hey, if I would have guarded him more, like, you wanted to add that type of idea for it. But just having that type of talk about Chris Paul being the type of leader that he is, and also a team that beat you in the way that they beat you, I think that goes a long way. And also it's something for him to read, like, okay, like, this happened, but like, there's no reason to be bitter. Like, I respect what happened, and I'm going to come back stronger. So that's something that really stood out for me.
I just like people that are self-aware. You know, he's just down to earth, self-aware. I mean, that's like generally the description used to describe every foreign-born player in the NBA, and never the description used to describe any American-born player.
I'm telling you, people will project a lot of things on there, and I'm sure there's certain like racial components to it, or this or that. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, the number one thing is if you go abroad and spend any time abroad, as I have.
You go abroad, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
The one thing you realize is how crazy marketing is in the U.S. and advertising, and just how much that is a part of our culture that is ingrained, and how little it is for other cultures in the same way. And I think that's what you're talking about is Facu can write this thing without fear of what his brand will change, because that's like kind of a foreign concept. Where here it's like, hey man, like you just said, less Chris Paul stuff. We're not giving too much appreciation to Chris Paul. That's bad for your brand here. Give him a little congrats and then move on. And I just think I just don't
want to talk about Chris Paul anymore. Like, he's now fully colored my playoffs, and I don't want to. I'm so
not excited for him to win a championship.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to. Can we not tie? Like, we're going to get a full amount of Chris Paul, whether we want it or not. Like, why are we going to bring it here to the DNBA show? In the middle of Facu's letter.
Before we go to this break, can I prepare you for something? Going to be significantly worse next year when he's a Laker. All right, let's hit our first break. Ball Arena. Tell us all about Ball Arena.
Adam Goodman says he just showed up for an apology that Leslie Nielsen did not make the comedic actors draft.
May or may not. Don't tell him. May or may not have made an appearance in the second round. He might be in the second round.
Become a member, dude.
Become a member. Check out the second round. The second round is where you find your Jokic's.
That's literally true.
And maybe your Ayo Dosunmus.
All right, so you say
Ball Arena.
So, all right, Ball Arena.
Man, I never missed Harrison more than now.
So Ball, let's see here. We all know Ball, the corporation.
There you go.
Ball.
You're off to a good start here.
They sponsor Ball Arena. They make the really cool aluminum cans that you buy there.
They're honestly one of our great corporations here in Colorado.
They are a fantastic corporation. I've worked with them in the past when I designed cans, and I went down to their plant. It's honestly like overwhelming to the point that I can't really describe. But they don't just only make aluminum cans. They also are an aerospace company. Right. They make satellites. They make rockets. They're like
engineering, baby.
Yes. So they're also a company that's really focused on sustainability and renewability and making our world a better place. And they've now are a sponsor of ours. Ball plus DNVR. What could be better? Each have 4 letters, and it's a harmonious combination that I think we all saw coming. Ball does things like they have satellites that actually monitor the Earth to find out where resources are dwindling and where human efforts need to be given. And now they're working with us. They need
engineers.
They need engineers in their Golden plant. They're hiring.
Golden's dope, by the way. Big fan of Golden.
You're a big Golden guy.
Big Golden guy, man. Go ahead. Me and Andre, man. We know
Andre loves Golden, too. Everybody here loves Golden.
It's a nice city. It's a cool little city, man.
Golden,
How could you dislike Golden? He has nothing he dislikes about it. He's just there's no way he has like. Is there a bad Golden take you have?
Well, yeah, Colorado School of the Mines for one,
and
then 2 there's like the 4-way stop before I get to Black Hawk.
That's what it is. We nailed it. All right. Well,
all the same. If you want to spend your time in Golden, you can check #WorkItBall. online. You can apply for a position at their aluminum can plant. You can text GOLDEN to 77222 or go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden. That's jobs.ball.com and search for Golden, or simply text GOLDEN to 7722.
All right, then you got DraftKings.
DraftKings. You guys know about DraftKings. They're the number one sports book in America. We love them. I've made quite a bit of money with DraftKings over the time we've been with them. We give out great picks here. Dev gives out great picks. Adam actually gave a great pick early on.
Thank
told
you.
us all to pick Jokic for MVP. He later rescinded,
God damn
cashed
it.
out, but
God
then he
damn
got
it.
cash right back
You
in.
son of a bitch.
Let's see here. So what is today's date? We are July 8th. Okay, so McGregor versus Poirier.
By the way, guys, we're having this at the DNVR bar. Come down, bet on it, but also come down and watch it.
Yes.
I'm going to be here.
It's all
No cover
No
fee.
cover fee.
Can you imagine why you get no cover fee to come to the DNV, the best
Yeah.
bar in Denver to watch this
insane.
fight?
To watch a
You're
fight.
here, right, Dev? Come on, baby.
I might as well come.
Might as well
You
be
might as
here.
well
Let's
come.
do this.
Well, it's all set for UFC 264, and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official betting partner of the UFC, has a knockout offer for this weekend's fight. DraftKings is offering 264 to 1 odds on a knockout in the first round during Saturday's main event. If the rubber match ends in a first round knockout, you walk away with cash. Just pick the main event fighter you think will win by a first round knockout, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 264 to 1 odds on that fighter. That's right. Bet $1 on McGregor or Poirier to win by first round
Man, who are
knockout,
we taking?
and you win $264. I heard the bets guys earlier. They're on Poirier.
Really?
They're on Poirier.
All right.
I don't really know what to. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge, which sounds like it's very limited.
Very limited.
To the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't worry if MMA isn't for you. DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $264 when you bet on one main event fighter to win by first-round knockout. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code DNVR to turn $1 to $264. Only at DraftKings
songs do we have to do for
Sportsbook.
this
Must be 21 or older. What do you want from me, Adam? I mean, my God.
I'm just saying, I've never
Colorado-
dissed Harrison more than right now, but all right.
Harrison is not fast at reading ads. You also taunt him in the same way. You're only making this go longer.
I taunt him, but now I miss him. Like, this is insane.
Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. This is how I felt during your Facu read, by the way. Restrictions apply. See
I apologize for him, Argentina. He didn't mean it. He doesn't mean it. Damn.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Adam, is there any more of that Facu letter?
You were the worst. Ayo Dosunmu. He is our prospect today, guys. Illinois. Dev, you were charged with doing some research here. We watched the video. So I got a little back and forth for you, but give me the overarching view of him real quick. So what are the things before we get to his skill set?
So first off, Harrison Wynn says that his NBA comp would be Drew Holiday.
Okay, see, maybe I can see it. I can see it a little bit. I think he's a better shooter, worse defender.
Yeah,
But okay.
see, I was going to go with Colin Sexton, but I think it's more so the look.
Yeah,
that
it
makes
definitely
me wanna
is.
say
You know
him.
what? But you know what though? No rat tail, which makes me
Yeah.
like Ayo Dosunmu.
90% of prospects have the same haircut, just short, or whatever. So anytime anybody has hair, they're compared to other people with
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, he has that. But also, I think
Montrezl
it's,
Harrell really reminds me of Kenneth Faried. Why? Because he has long hair.
yeah, but I also think that it's more so the defensive stand. Like that's the thing that really stands out for me with Ayo. This year was huge for him. Like he had like one of the best point guard years of everyone. I think he put up like 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. So like he's a true point guard, but he's also a scoring point guard. The 3-point shot is not consistent. That's like been the knock for him. But everything else is pretty much there. He's a leader. He gets to his spots on the floor. He scores in bunches, but he also does all of the other small things. He looks like he's got a lot bigger. He's grown like 30 pounds, like in like the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Like he's getting a lot bigger, but he's also just a quick, speedy guard. He's not the same type of prospects that you guys have been talking about these last couple of weeks, but he's a player that can fall, and also he's going to be in the league for a while.
Does that mean Dev has seen some of the shows we've done?
There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way.
Okay. He maybe saw a graphic later on.
So he did go 3 years. He's a 21-year-old, so he does have a little bit more, college experience under his belt. He averaged 20 points per game this last year with Illinois. What about his skill set, Dev? Let's get into the skill set. I'll tell you, put that graphic up again. The one thing, so these are like overarching pros and cons. The one thing I asked around from my like guys that really do the draft, that really get into it, about the leader and winner thing. I don't know where that came from. I don't know, like, because I was looking like Googling Ayo, leader, whatever. I don't know where that reputation comes from.
I think it's more so just like running that Illinois team. Like that's a team that they haven't had that much success, but now they're starting to get a lot better.
Okay.
But he's more so like an orchestrator. Like change of speed is really high. He's also always under control. And he really can score. He scores when he wants to. He gets through the pick and roll. He's a good help side defender. He's really like a true point guard, and also he's a backup. He'll be a backup in the league, and he's going to be a backup for a lot of years. But he's one of those players that's always going to be around. I felt like Brandon Knight was in the league for 25 years.
Yeah, he was.
Somehow, because they just know how to stick around. They know how to get everyone else around them to work hard with them, and he's that type of player. But it's going to be the defense that sticks around as well.
So, to me, it's interesting because he looks so big. All these guys, this was the same as Zeke Naji. If you would ask me how tall he was when I watched his highlights, I'm like, solid 7-footer, 6'9".
Right.
This guy, I was like, man, he has such a great body. And then I looked at the stats, 6'4". That's the Gary Harris range. That's the in-between. And do you think he's a point guard at the next level?
Yeah, he's a point guard, but he's also, I think, more so with the Gary Harris, he's a versatile defender. Like, that's what makes it, because he could defend multiple positions. Even though he's undersized, he's able to go out on the wing for a few seconds, or he's able to, if you put him in the post, he's going to be able to defend himself until help comes over. So he's smaller, but he's also able to defend.
If I were to, it's funny that you're talking so much about the defense, because if I was to reduce this to one thing, like, all right, we're going to give a tagline for him, to me, he would be a bucket.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think he's a bucket. I think this is, I would not be surprised if people were higher on Ayo than like if he was like a fan favorite, and people are clamoring for him, because you watch him, really good one dribble pull up. Like, he's got a great shot fake, escape dribble, mid-range jumper. Like, it's really smooth, really pretty. He's a really good open court attacker. So end to end, like 1-on-3, I saw a lot of he's really good at finishing those. One dribble drive, straight line drives. He's got a really good attack. He's pretty athletic. I don't think like a hyper athletic player, but he can play above the rim and throw it down. And then here's the thing that I feel like he's most comfortable with, and I kind of don't love it. Really good at the like quadruple crossovers.
Oh yeah, just over dribbling. That is one of the knocks on him is he over dribbles. But he's definitely a bucket.
He makes a lot.
As a sophomore, he averaged 13, then he went to 16, and then his last year was his best year at 20 points a game. So he can for sure score. That is going to be something that he has to work on, is like the not over dribbling and also making a quick decision with the ball, just because that makes it really tough for anyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and play. I'm sorry. I should just say play those whenever we start talking
Roll
here. We can
that
kind of. There he is out on the wing. No, he's the one on the other side. There he is, right there. The shot mechanics are a little weird. I mean, I think it's like the form is consistent. It just has a little bit. It's almost like more straight out in front of his body. Pretty good. Oh, the other thing about this, we're going to see a lot of. The last thing I didn't mention when I was talking about all the different ways he's a bucket. I think he's maybe the most NBA thing that you should be excited most about his NBA skill set. I think he can be a really good pick and roll player. He makes mistakes, but he makes pretty high level reads too. And if guys can make high level reads, I don't mind if they make low level mistakes at this age, because I feel like if you have the little bit of the good, you'll get rid of the bad over time.
Yeah, and he also takes chances. He's a chance taker, and that's something that you don't get much of. We just saw it right there. He throws a oop down the middle with like others around. He's also a disruptor, so like he plays the passing lanes and gets out in the open court and finishes well. But yeah, you could look at the film and see
Colin Sexton. It's just the hair.
I mean, Sexton's a bucket though.
Yeah, he is a bucket. He was a bucket. Yeah. He's a gamer too. Colin Sexton was. I don't know about Dosunmu. I'm guessing that's what you meant by like leadership and stuff. Is he's a gamer,
just very competitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's
I like it. Look at his patience in the pick and roll. There.
Always in the
That's
mix.
a perfect timing. That last play right there. It looks so simple, but he made it look simple by perfect timing. So I think he'll be a scorer. A lot of different ways of scoring. Open court, I think he's really, really good. He almost reminds me of what I thought Gary Harris was going to be after 2018. In some ways, where you kept thinking like, oh, he's adding a little bit more of a handle to him. And then it just went away.
Yeah, the good thing though is this guy has the ball in his hands most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
He plays off the ball, but he also has the ball, and he'll make a decision and go.
Yeah.
I like the film. I like the film. Their team plays kind of like a rowdy AAU style of basketball. It doesn't look like they have any set plays. They just kind of go.
No. Oh, man. I thought that was going to go in. I was so ready for it.
We got highlights
really
of his free throw. All right.
This is really just one game. So we're seeing highlights and just lights.
We're just seeing lights.
I just download the highlights people send.
Yeah. So according to a few mock drafts, he is sitting about at the 34, 35 range. So
a little behind.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't really matter, for being honest, man. Once you get where the Nuggets are at 26, they're probably going to pick in the mock draft somebody between 20 and 30.
Yep.
Just probably. But you never know, man. There's surprises, and Tim Conley at that point.
You never know.
If you were looking at the mock and you get to pick 26 and they end up taking the guy that's at mock 34, you just kind of all right, well, Yeah.
Also, you always got to watch that trade back when you're talking about Tim Conley.
Yeah, and it also becomes about fit. What do we really need? Do we need a point guard? Of course, we need a point guard right now. Those are the type of ideas that you could get with that. And then also when you go with the pushbacks, like you said, if he's projected at 34, you push back maybe 3 or 4 spots, he's still available, and that's the guy that you wanted. So, that's something that we know that Conley can and will do.
I think he's a bench scorer more than he is a starting guard. I don't think he's a good enough player offensively to run your team, but I don't know that he's necessarily a starting shooting guard, because I don't think he's a great shooter.
Right.
So then he becomes a bit of if he's your shooting guard, he's really a secondary ball handler. He's almost in some ways a worse Will Barton.
Oh.
Yes.
Will Barton can score and do a lot of different things, but he's a little bit less. And then defensively, I'm kind of surprised at the defensive hype around him. Like I said, when you watch the highlights, this is one thing. Sometimes defensive highlights are great pick and roll defense and getting over screens and this and that. A lot of his were steals. I just don't know that he's going to be a great. He comped him to Drew Holiday. I don't see that, man. Defensively, I just don't see it anywhere close.
Maybe they're going off of the early Drew Holiday type of feel with it. Now he's clearly a different type of defender and type of player. But when he was early and raw, you're just out there making plays happen. And as a backup point guard, that comes with it, and the veteran presence and abilities come with that later on in time. So maybe you should. It's hard to comp someone that's already young, but maybe you have to look at him as just a really young one of these type of players.
Right. To me, 6-man type scorer, really, like I said, a little bit of maybe a lesser Will Barton. Maybe he grows into be a full Will Barton.
Yeah.
But that to me is more what he is than necessarily your perfect ideal.
Interesting.
Point guard or something like that. Probably why he's mocked in the 30s.
In the 30s, second round.
Also, he's 21. That's so funny. It's not that old, but the curve from 19 to 21 is pretty steep. So you probably take a much lesser.
Yeah, he looks like he could put on some weight. Also, he looks pretty.
Oh, I think he has I think he looks pretty stout.
You think so? He looked a little he could just he's got the frame but not quite the fill.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So I'm lukewarm on him. He's in the Duarte Primo bin for me, where it's I like him. I don't love him.
The fact that it's a bin.
It's a bin.
Just toss it.
Put it as a shelf. Then eventually a whole throne room.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm eagerly waiting to see who's on your shelf. We only know who's in the bin currently.
I think our last one's on the shelf. I think I don't know if he's in the club fully, but.
From last show?
Mm-hmm.
Who did we look at last show? We looked at the large. What was his name?
Great defender, Draymond Green-esque. I'd have to go back and go back. I can't believe you put us on the spot like this.
Usman Garuba.
Usman Garuba.
I didn't put him on.
Usman?
No, I was just
correcting us.
You got to realize, if you say it, we'll just repeat it. Usman.
Right. That's got to be right.
Let us know. We're going to hit our last break here. On the other side, we're going to talk about Baye Fall, and we have a bunch of other news to hit. I can't wait to talk about Baye Fall, by the way. Dev, very plugged in, man. Nobody knows, Denver high school hoops like Dev. So I can't wait to hear all about Baye Fall, what he might be. And then there's a bunch of other little quick hitters. We'll have fun with the quick hitters. But First, take us away on a painfully long, slow, and awkward ad read.
What do you want
break.
from me? I'm just reading the goddamn sheet. Hey, what is the first ad I'm reading?
Oh my gosh, that's right. I have to really feed
Dude,
you
we're
lines here.
we're too
Solace Meds.
Oh,
Solace Meds.
Solace Meds. So,
King
Yeah, dude.
Cone.
so let's see here. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not reading.
Finding
Why do
quality, bro.
I found it, but I don't want to read old ads. I mean, there's
Talk
old
about
offers.
Solace Meds, man.
Solace Meds. They have a location not
Right
that
down the
far
street,
from
right down the
our
street.
beloved DNVR bar, just down the way.
Like 1
on
mile.
Colfax, yes. And they've got. Let's see here. They've got some banging deals for the month of July. Here's just a few to look forward to. Let's see. Wild Night and Day gummies. Buy one, get one, 50% off. I'm just going to pick a few things that seem interesting to me.
know what they have?
All open cured resin
Go to
cartridges.
the last one.
20% off. You know that if you get, let's see, you get a 10-cent pre-roll or 10 milligram
Honestly, if
edible.
you go in
and
and
spend
mention
$50.
DNVR, there's a good chance they'll just hook you up, man.
Yeah, because you get that King Cone. You
Get the King Cone.
you get
Also, they're
the
DNVR
Solace
homies,
bar.
man. They're DNVR
Yeah,
homies.
that's if you head into the Wheat Ridge location, you get a free Solace
Wear
bar
your DNVR
or a
hat
King
when you go
Cone
in or shirt
when you
or
mention the
something.
code. The code, of course, DNVR20. You mention that's the Wheat Ridge location. So for Solace Meds, you head in, you mention DNVR20, you get the 20% off and a free Solace bar or King Cone. Remember, all these amazing deals you can take advantage of or get 20% off your entire purchase when you use DNVR20 at checkout. Solace Meds makes your cannabis shopping experience a delight. You can head to their website, view their menu, order online, pick up at your convenience, or just head to solacemeds.com and purchase from there. And don't forget to use the code DNVR20 to save 20%.
I'll queue up Hassel Cattle Company. I'll spell you here and tell everybody about Chevalier Mortgage because this is my world. You guys know I spent 10 years doing real estate investing, real estate buying, all this different stuff. I know the first time you buy a home, it could be intimidating. You don't know where to do. I'm telling you, your first step should be, in my opinion, should be calling Chevalier Mortgage, Mike and Virginia Chevalier. You can call them at 303-257-6578. And what you're going to do is you just call. You don't know anything about buying a house. You tell them, you say, hey, I'm a DNVR member. I listen to the DNVR Nuggets podcast all the time. I'm looking to buy a house. Can you get me started? That's all you got to do. They are going to handle the rest of it. Or maybe you already have a home. You got a 5% interest rate, 4.5% interest rate. Call them up, refinance that, and get a better deal. Right now, I mean, you're going to get like a great, I can't tell you what rate you're going to get, but I can tell you that right now rates are very low. So there's a chance you can save some money right there. So call Mike and Virginia Chevalier. They are DNVR listeners, DNVR fans, and they can walk you through that process in an extremely friendly way that makes it less intimidating. So check them out. Again, 303-257-6578 or visit DNVRmortgage.com. Super easy. All the information there. DNVRmortgage.com. And of course, for legal purpose, I got to tell you this. NMLS number 1931006. That's for Michael Chevalier. And NMLS number 1910631 for Virginia Chevalier. Check them out.
We brought you damn good beer. Now we're delivering to you damn good beef. It is so damn good. The Wagyu beef from Hassel Cattle Company. We love it. It's all about the marbling. I have a freezer full of Hassel Cattle Company steaks right now. That's not a lie. I made myself a delicious ribeye not 2 days ago. I'm still thinking about it right now.
You want to tell your tragedy?
I do want to tell my tragedy.
Tell the story.
I cooked it on the table. Are you talking about that?
Yeah, when you said it.
All right,
Every time he calls to brag and show pictures of the great steak,
I did ruin my steak.
one up.
I did ruin my steak a little bit. I was trying to keep the heat circulating inside of the iron cast iron skillet that I was using to cook the steak. Put a lid on it, and it ended up tasting a little metallic. I ruined it just a little bit, but all the same, Hassel Cattle Company, even though I ruined it, it was still delicious.
It was only a 9.5 out of 10.
It was only a 9.5 out of 10. The marbling didn't go away. But Hassel Cattle Company is now offering DNVR listeners a buy 3, get 1 free on their flank steaks. These delicious steaks are lean and very flavorful. They should be very thinly sliced against the grain while carving. And you can get these steaks. They're only $9.99 each, so you can they're affordable to begin with, and now you can buy 3 and get 1 free. Use DNVR Flank at checkout, DNVR FLANK at checkout, buy 3 and get 1 free.
As long as you don't go through Eric, or else your steaks will come to Eric last Friday, they'll still be in his
Yeah, I have.
Does he owe you steaks?
He owes me a whole
He owes you a whole
Hold on.
order.
package
Wow, the truth comes out
hold
about
on.
the Eric super order of hassle.
Attack him.
First off, number one, I've not been paid for this order. If you want to Venmo me that order, I will bring it. I will bring it right in, no problem.
There you go.
I'm not going to deliver without payment. That's just not how it works.
It's like a secret drop that has to happen.
And you
between
can still
Spano.
use DNVR 10 on your entire order to save as well.
I just picture Spano.
Really? Why you have
Yeah. If you don't remember, I don't remember, bro. That's how
No,
it works
actually,
out.
I agree with that type of stuff. Like, there's no more IOUs. That doesn't work anymore. 2021, it's just not anymore. Once you pay, that's how things work.
All right. Final segment here, guys. We'll keep it
Anyway,
moving.
and if anybody wants to see me riding my scooter with a bag full of steaks tomorrow, bring him to Brandon. Just
There
look
you
out
go.
at around 9 a.m.
Final segment here. I want to take the temperature real quick. Dev, we're going to take the spotlight here, but I want to ask Eric, have you heard about Baye Fall? Has he made
Yes.
your radar? So he
Baye
already
Fall was
has.
actually on the local news last night, but I'd heard him because we hang out with Dev and I listened to him.
Right. So tell us, man, Baye Fall, dominant Colorado basketball player, the next Chauncey, meaning the next. We've had some NBA players, but it's been like Jason Smith, like, all right. Baye Fall, legit.
See, so the funny thing is to say he's the next Chauncey. Chauncey was like highly coveted in high school.
Yeah.
Like made the All-American like team and stuff, but no one in Colorado history has ever had the looks as Baye Fall. Like he has all the big time schools in North
Duke?
Carolina. I think Duke's the only one that doesn't. Like
Really?
Kentucky has like offered him. Like he has every single school. He's the number 3 player in the 2023 class
That's
from
crazy.
ESPN. Which I don't think we've ever had anybody that
Right.
high as well. 6'11", super skinny, just like super skinny. But I think he's honestly a top 5 rim protector, no matter the class. And
Really?
2023 is like he's heading into his junior season, and it's not fair. Like looking at that, because he's from Senegal. When they come in, there's a rule that they just can't play at these big time schools if they're from a different country. So he had to play in 3A, so Lutheran. So now he's playing against like small schools, and he's dominating. I'm talking about 6 blocks a game. He has 17 rebounds.
Didn't you tell us he had like a quadruple double, but one of them was through blocks?
Yeah, that was Hassan Diop, which is they're in the same type of situation, and also Hassan will also be ranked. But yeah, they both play for Colorado Hawks, and also with Baye Fall is he's now not having to play at Lutheran High School anymore, which is a relief to 3A players around the state.
Just too
and
dominant?
Also coaches, yeah, just too dominant. And also when you're dominant like that and you're getting national exposure, it's not doing you any justice.
Right.
When you're having to just dominate and then maybe even like hold back. And there's players like the difference between him, Hassan Diop, and him is that kid like feels bad about dominating these people. Baye, he's wired different. He wants to dominate you in every single he wants to take your pride away from you. He's blocking it. He's trash talking. He's just a really like hard working player. And this is a player that is like he's privately worked out with NBA players. Like
Really?
he's just that type of player, and he holds his own.
Where was Chauncey back in the day? Do you
I was
know?
gonna ask that same
'cause
question.
he was. I know he wasn't top 5, top 10, but was he a top 25 prospect?
Yeah, he was a top 25 just because he made the McDonald's All-American game to
Right.
like just tell you how like coveted he was.
Yeah.
So he really was, and he won Mr. Basketball for 3 of his 4 years.
Right.
So that just makes it a little bit different. But to have as many schools on him as Baye, like we just never have had anything like that, and it's continuing to grow.
How tall is he now?
6'11".
So there's a chance that he can be 7 foot 7'1", because if he's a sophomore going into junior year, some guys stop growing right around there, but most people I would say grow a little bit more, and some people grow a lot more at that page, but most people grow at least a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's really agile. He moves like a guard. Actually,
Wow.
in the state championship, he defended one of the, if not the best point guard in the state for the entire game, face guard.
Wow.
And you got to think about that. This guy's 5'11", going against like a 7-foot defender
Yeah.
who's face guarding him and able to keep up with him every single way. And he's he's getting goaltend calls because the refs just don't know what to do. They haven't seen anybody like Baye Fall in Colorado who's he's dunking every single thing.
And
he's going after contact. This is not a player that like avoids contact. When you see his stature, he looks skinny, but this guy is like throwing elbows. He's pushing guys out of the way for dunks, and he also has a mid-range. So he's different, and he's still growing as a player. Like, he still has a long way to go, of course, but he still is able to do things that we haven't seen. He's shooting not the 3-ball, but like the mid-range. He goes in and he has the right sky hook. He dunks with everyone. He competes against 1A player. He doesn't care who you are. He's going to go against an NBA player the same way he's going to go against anyone else. So it's a lot different.
Yeah. Man.
and
go ahead.
Fall is one of the most common last names.
It's like
in-
Smith in Senegal,
Right.
yeah. It's actually
Some
it's
people
like-
in the comments they were asking if he was related to Taco. No, he's not related to Taco. He's
no,
just-
it's like honestly like half the population of
Right.
Senegal is a
Yeah.
Fall. So, let me going up now because I know he's moving now to the new school. What does that do for him? Do they play a national schedule? Meaning, are they going to play like your Oak Hills? Maybe not Oak Hill, but teams like that.
Yeah, they just actually been accepted to play on the grind session. So I want to say Jalen Green?
Yeah.
Was just
In
in
the-
that. Like
in the
they
G
have,
League?
they have those type of players, which is supposed to be like the best high school / post grad league in the world is what they pitch themselves as. But he is going to be playing against like a different type of playing style, especially coming from 3A. But also, you live and you breathe basketball when you're at a academy. He's going to Denver Prep School, or Denver Prep Academy is what it's called, which is, one of 2 in Colorado. We just now became a state that has 2 prep schools. There's Colorado Prep, and now there's Denver Prep Academy, and they're both in the grind session. So that's going to be fun and unique for them to go at it and be in the same state. But also with Baye, he's going to be around other like-minded players that are as
That's
talented as him. I'm sure Hassan will go over with them, so they're going to have one of the longest. They're going to be the real long boys. Hassan is a 6'9" point
Wait,
guard.
they're supposed to be on the same team.
They're going to
now?
be on the same team.
That's so
They're
ridiculous.
bringing guys over like with them, and they're also still looking for
Man,
new look for. So he's
high
he's
school
a player that
basketball in
you have to
Colorado's
see.
changed.
It's changed.
back when I watched Chauncey Billups dunk on Josh Emery, who was the older brother of my friend who lived down the street. And Chauncey, I went to go see the state championship. It was at Moby Arena, and I watched Josh Emery get absolutely posterized by Chauncey Billups.
Coming up,
like, okay.
Monarch had 3 guys that were at 6'7", 6'9", 6'11", or something like that, and and the best one was Lou Amundsen, who turned out to be an NBA player. But I mean, that's different from the top 5 player in the whole country. So wildly insane. That's exciting. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for good players to be coming out of Colorado. I know, even though it's via Senegal, but I just think it's a cool story, and I'm excited now
Can we
to watch
somehow
him.
also
I think that's going to be a story that picks up. By the way, I feel like we're talking about him. People were already talking about him last year, but I feel like you're going to hear that name a lot in the coming 2 years.
Is there any way we can also credit that to Nikola Jokic?
I think we should. I think we should. All right, rapid fire here, guys, as we go through the end of our news and notes here today. Eric, we have you. The NBA logo for the 75. It's the 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
The NBA logo.
Yeah.
It's I would say underwhelming. Not Baye Fall. He's not underwhelming. There we go. It's a diamond.
It's a diamond. I believe the diamond is that's the 75-year stone. If you're right, is it? I assume there has to be some.
Diamonds aren't forever. They're for 75.
Like you have the paper anniversary.
For 75 years, they had the Diamond Jubilee.
Oh, okay. Well,
Kale,
that was,
how the hell did he just know this off the top of the head?
Well,
the Diamond Jubilee for the Queen.
so things you'll notice here, whether you've noticed them or not, is that in the diamond, where you normally have the straight lines that indicate where the diamond's been cut, these are the round basketball lines.
I
They've
did
taken
notice
off of
that,
the
yeah.
basketball. The logo man is although he starts centered, it ends up quite off centered. This whole thing is quite off centered. It bothers me quite a bit. I don't like this at all. Can
I tell you my take on it real quick?
Yes.
'Cause it looks like something you would get as a knockoff. Like you buy this at a store where it's unlicensed NBA gear.
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I don't like the interplay between. There's no interplay, in fact, between the 75 and our beloved logo man. Not really a fan. This does look very cheaply made. This feels very in-house. I've been very underwhelmed with the graphic design that I've seen coming out of the NBA of late, be it the Grand Rapids Gold or anything that's related to precious metals or gems. Apparently, the NBA is not really...
Dev, do you have a take on this logo?
It's just not nice. It's just not nice. It could be better.
Nice.
It could really be better. And then look at the size of the shorts on this guy, man. Who was this, John Stockton? Like,
In some good news,
based on
guys.
Jerry West, you do
In
know
some
that,
good
right?
news.
No, that one has to be.
Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is worth $100 billion. Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, 9th person ever, I believe, to be worth $100 billion. So
insane.
Steve Ballmer, most known for grabbing the guys' crotches alongside him at the game in pure excitement.
So he is the owner of the LA Clippers, but he's most known for being
A crotch grabber.
crotch grabber.
Hey, you can do anything in life, but you celebrate like that one time in public, and that's all you're known for.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
So excited that you grab not one but two
look,
crotches.
This is again the fame when they launched Windows 95. He's very excitable person. How does he have so much money? I don't get it. I mean, obviously
Microsoft.
I
Man.
know, but how? I guess now
you just get to own a part of it. Can you imagine if the DNVR did a horrible job, or like we're letting you go, but you get to retain all of your shares and you have the most shares, and then the guy that replaced you took it to like the new ESPN, and you're just like, hell yeah.
But I got to think that his wealth is not coming through Microsoft currently. I don't think Microsoft is having.
You don't keep up with Forbes magazine.
What has Microsoft done lately that's increased their wealth?
So many things that you don't even know about.
All right, fair enough. I guess that's true. But so it's got to be most of that's got to be coming through the Clippers. Would you not think?
No, not most of it.
Okay.
No. I mean,
Well, now his money's so high, he probably has real estate and everything.
Yeah,
Well,
he's got.
of course,
come on,
but-
rich people there, they own a little bit of everything. He's added $20 billion this year.
That's what I mean. Where did that come from?
Follow the money. I'm not here to report on it other than I just wanted to like dig on
Follow the
Ballmer here. And then lastly, guys, viewership for Game 1 of the NBA Finals is up
What?
from last year.
Follow the money.
It's up. Follow the money. Not Lakers Heat, right? Oh, what a great. We got Pat Riley. We got LeBron James. No. We got Milwaukee, and we have the Phoenix Suns. And look at these numbers, guys. We are up. Now, I have to temper all of this by
Yeah,
saying...
you're right. Last year was as low as it got.
As low as it got, these numbers aren't necessarily good, although I will say that's in part because no numbers are good. It did dominate. I think it was the number one most viewed thing of the night, which is now how everything has been diluted because there's more entertainment outlets and people can just watch YouTube now, where that wasn't a thing 20 years ago. But it is still owning, and I just think it's at least that's cool.
Yo,
But to bring it up, also, I think they said that was like the most viewed game since like 2001 or something like that.
The most impressive figure on here is the last one to me. It's 55 million video views across all NBA social platforms, up 71% since 2019, which is actually the benchmark we should be looking at. I don't know if you
Raptors,
after that.
Warriors?
Well, after 2019, I'm not sure if you knew the world fell into
That's
a
true.
global pandemic and a lot of things changed.
So I want to really celebrate and dunk on the Lakers and ESPN and everybody that's involved with making the NBA insufferable about legacy and LeBron James primarily. I want to do that,
Sure.
but I will say Ethan Strauss, who's one of my favorites over at The Athletic, has been reported that these numbers are a little inflated because apparently, and this is what he's saying, I take his word for it, but the Nielsen ratings, they used to be like household only, but now they count businesses as well. And it's like if you just suddenly started to count every tire shop that has ESPN just on a TV, like of course you're going to get some inflated numbers. So that being said, maybe there's a little tricky math going on, but whatever, I'm going to celebrate it. LeBron's out, small markets win.
Yeah, and even if it's not like, even if your man Ethan Strauss is tempering it to the point where maybe it hasn't grown to the level that we think that it has, like even if it's keeping pace with
That's true. Yeah.
the idea that you have LeBron, you have to have
LeBron. We have
otherwise, nothing is worse than when you see the memes and all of everything online. They're like, oh, look at these the NBA. Official or everyone in the NBA front office is definitely jumping off a cliff thinking about the fact that they have to have Phoenix versus Milwaukee, and it's like, people like basketball. It's not that difficult.
They do like basketball. Any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
You want me to read any more ads?
We're 4 minutes over, and I want you to know that 4 minutes is all you.
That's
all
not
you.
true. Do you think that your Chevalier ad was quick and to the point?
Yeah. You kind of thought it was.
He looked at me for some like reassurance. Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think, Dev?
No.
Son of a bitch. All right, everybody,
I
thanks
do
for
have
tuning in.
one parting thought.
Okay.
Tomorrow, debut.
Ooh.
Online with D-Line. It's our standalone show. Starts tomorrow. We don't even know what it's going to look like. We still have to figure it out today. That seems like right in line with the spirit of the show.
Does seem right in line.
I think it's going to happen right after the DNBA show, 3 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be a half hour long. It'll be Adam will be on there. Andre will be on there. RK will be on there. I'll be on there. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to crack wise about things that happen on the internet.
Can't wait, guys. Definitely check that out after watching this show. It's immediately after this. So Fridays just got better. Casual Friday, online with D-Line, 2 hours of gold. See everybody then.